Alright guys, so today we are going to be doing another Shichiya summon. So this time around we have ourselves the Extreme Limited Banner Full Armor Unicorn Gundam. And we also do have another iteration of Banagher Link. So I think a lot of you are definitely going to be asking, alright, is this going to be a unit to summon for? I think I definitely do have a little bit of a mixed feeling, even though I did fully complete this unit. I have tested out, so tomorrow you guys are going to be seeing kind of like a damage comparison from pretty much when you pull the unit all the way to maxing out. And I was damage portion wise, I am fairly impressed, but usability wise I'm just kind of like, man, it's really frustrating because damage output wise I'm really getting inconsistent number from time to time, or not even from time to time. I want to say a lot, and it definitely has to do with, you know, the situation that we are fighting in. So it's first and foremost, this is a unit that if you guys are planning to summon, I think it is as good as one unit. Is one copy is fine. All right, 1 or 2 copy, and you should call it a day, because I don't really think that the transcendent skill is really worth it. Obviously, any transcendent skill is definitely it's more like a perks to. It's just of an extent of how good the unit could be, but as for this one, I think pretty much basically you find everything you need within just the skill 1 and skill 2 and the EX skill effects, and that's pretty much it. The transcendent skill is just a little bit of a cherry on top. You don't necessarily need it to make this unit good. This is one of those units. It's kind of like a jack of all trades, so it performs relatively decent in a DPS situation where you want this unit to kind of output something for you. In defensively, I wouldn't call this unit a tank by any means, even though it has the ability to reduce or increase beam resistance, or essentially you can tank a little bit better for all your allies. So it does everything, but it just doesn't excel in any direction where I'll say, yeah, this unit is a must-have because it performs really well. I guess kind of get that spiel out of the way. So 1 or 2 copy if you guys really do want it. That's pretty much it. I will not highly suggest you guys do not go anything more than that, because it's just not needed. So right off the bat, the stat for the projectile and beam reduce is actually quite high, both sitting at 1700. That's actually quite good. And HP on this guy is actually not too bad, because it's gonna come in handy because of this right here. So on the EX skill effects, besides just the actual damage tags, 693, that's actually quite a sizable number to one target enemy, so that's pretty good. But the main thing we are looking at is the EX skill effects. So to all enemy for 20 seconds, increase beam damage resistant by 30%, and then there's also the one for the projectile. So this is where I guess the defensive capability kind of comes in. So getting off the EX skill on this unit is not the worst. Even if you don't have the transcendent skill on the on the 3rd line, I think it's still quite good, because once you do take a look at the skill 1 and skill 2, on skill 2 actually does taking damage restore 3% of EX skill gauge. So there you have it. So you do have ways to actually increase your EX skill gauge, so that's actually quite good. So that's why I said, like, everything you need for this kit is already there. Like, what else do you need? You heal for every 5 seconds. You heal 6% of your max HP, so you might want to go for like a little bit of a higher HP when you guys go for the unit enhancement. But you have utility for you to survive. You have that. You increase your defense by 48%. That's neat. This one also decreased your evasion by 46%, because this unit, realistically speaking, you do not ever want to dodge, because if you are dodging, you are pretty much losing out on a lot of the perks. But this unit does everything. Like skill 1, already healing, already increasing his defense. That's good. On skill 2, unlock B Magnum, and then on taking damage, recover 3% of EX skill gauge. That's neat. And then on taking damage for 10 seconds, increase in beam damage by 5%, up to stacking it up to 5 times, so 25%. So that's a little bit of like your avenue of actually getting some damage. But overall, like this is a really solid kit. All right, even if you don't have this right here, you're still good. The cherry on top one, the transcendent skill, gives you accuracy more beam damage increase, restore your EXQ gauge by 50% when you launch or at the start of the battle, and increase HP by 48%, and then additionally when dealing damage for 20 seconds, increase beam damage by 5.8%, stacking at that to 10 times. So the Transcendent skill is pretty much allowing you to hit harder, but essentially you have everything you need. You don't even need that. So that's why I keep saying, like, this is a relatively, I guess, low budget unit. If you just want the bare minimum, all right, you have it all. You're good to go. So if you do want it, you get it one copy, that's fine. But other than that, I mean, like, overall, I wouldn't call this unit really exceptional on this right here, because first of all, you do have to get the EXQ off, and it's still gonna take a hot minute in arena specifically. I think if you don't have this up, like the Transcendent Skill 3, you would probably never get the EXQ off on arena unless you put it in a vulnerable situation where you're just taking a lot of damage. Then you might have that going on, but I mean, other than that, you probably would not even pop that off. That's how it is. But with this in conjunction with the healing capability in arena, is still fairly, it's not bad, because you can either put this guy in like the back row so it can always heal, and you are also doing damage. So you can, there are a lot of different playing stuff with this unit, so we have that. Coming down at the main weapon is the Beam Galligan. So this one is actually quite good as well, because if we take a look at the attack count, we are doing 10 hits 2 times because of the Beam Galligan. Like we have 2 barrels, or essentially 8 barrels, but this is effectively allowing you to charge that EXQ gauge fast, because you're charging the EXQ gauge based on the number of attack you are able to land on the enemy, and on the other hand, if you do take damage, you charge the EXQ gauge at the same time. So if you have something like that, what does that tell you? If you are able to land those 10 hit in succession, meaning you are able to land all of them accurately, you are able to gain that EXQ gauge really fast. So this is really neat. All right, Beam Magnum, 3 hits 1 time, so that's, you know, generically what the other weapon is, but the Beam Galligan is good. All right, that's effectively going to allow you to just get that EXQ gauge off, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, a lot of attacks, just a bunch, but overall pretty solid kit even without the Transcendent skill. So moving on to Banagher. Well, taking a look at Banagher, the Banagher actually has one of the highest resistance just straight up in game for pilots specifically. Even in JP, I believe Banagher is still one of the highest ones, so it speaks for him. This pilot is actually quite good. It is quite limited. Obviously, there are a lot of, you know, tags in here that, or a lot of those categories are not really affiliated with, you know, maybe a lot more unit later down the road. Things that probably works for skill 2. Let's kind of take a look at that real quick. Protagonist unit, and then heavy armor probably works for the Laplace incident, and then the Psycho frame type. Those are more, I guess, niche. You have to run it on a Unicorn type unit, but any future release of Unicorn, any one of them, they're gonna work. Especially when we have more later down the road. We should at least get 2 more later down the road. One is going to be the Unicorn Perfectibility, and then there's the Awakened Unicorn, which transform into the red Psycho frame into the green Psycho frame. So you can expect at least 2 more, and that one will work into, like, those 2. This pilot will work as well. So it speaks for me that this pilot is actually quite good. This one is skill, like, look at that, on 2. Blue element, or yeah, for blue element, 2 skill for that. Raising range sense by 69% when activating EXQ, and then on taking damage for 10 seconds, increase range attack range sense by 18%. So this is really good. That's really good. And then more on generic, so that, yeah, you have a lot. And then for the quote-unquote the tank capability or the resistance, you stack 5 times on 7%, so 35%, so 70% in total. That's really nice. And then accuracy, you have accuracy on taking hit as well, so you have a lot. But all right, here's gonna be a part where I talk about the, I guess, the not so positive. So on both the unit and the pilot, it requires a lot of taking damage, right? So effectively speaking, if you don't put this unit in a vulnerable situation where you know you can take hit, a lot of these effects are not going to proctor, like especially this one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 different effects on the pilot that needs to take advantage of that. So that is a problem from time to time. So that's why on here, this one taking damage to gain that, dealing damage. So that doesn't really matter. But you have ways for you to not do damage because you have these situation where you're not dodging. So obviously, what does that kind of tell you? So as far as like a one target enemy, this unit may not excel too well because first of all, if you have like an actual tank up in front that is taking on the damage or having the enemy focus on that one front unit, this unit is not going to take any damage. So majority of the time there are going to be a lot of chances where you don't deal true damage because you just don't proctor all of them. So that's a problem right now when you run this with Sasabi. Who's gonna take the hit? You want Sasabi to take the hit, obviously, because he's like a little bit more of a DPS than this one. But man, like when I did my testing, I was getting frustrated because when I use this one is taking all the hits, so Sasabi's not getting anything. So you have things that kind of overlap as far as skill themselves, so it's not really the best, right? So it's kind of making you choose like, all right, which one do you actually want to use to deal damage, right? So that's why if you don't even get this one, it's fine because you have other unit that's gonna fulfill. Like if you have Sasabi already, why do you even need this one? Because for what purposes? You don't actually need it. So that's why there are a lot of things in this kit that it ages out, because as we get better units later down the road, that does not heavily rely on the dodging aspect of things to deal more damage. Not that the fact that future unit won't have them, but I think future units are just a little bit more well constructed than this one is. So there are some flaws in this one for sure, but at the same time, the flaw does not innately just write this up. So just wanna make that clear. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And this one side note for the Banagher. So if you don't, let's say, unsuccessfully pull the Banagher, we can actually go in here, just kind of take a look at the standard pull. This Pesh montage, she actually would work for this Banagher, this one right here, or the Unicorn, because the Psycho Zaku Tesaku is more like a replica of the Unicorn, but in a worse way. But as far as the pilot itself, what she does actually is going to be able to offer good things to this Unicorn as well. So let's say you only have budget for Unicorn. If you really want a I guess like a tankier pilot, you can go for Pesh. She will work just as great. But other than that, that's pretty much what I have for you guys as far as actually you guys summon. Tomorrow we'll be going over the true damage potential of this for Unicorn, and then that should be pretty much it for me.